This is Boxing Tickets NI in association with that prize guy. I am delighted to be joined for the first time in 2025 with Kieran Molloy. You're probably the happiest man in the world right now. Obviously, your Pearse Stadium's obviously been announced. You're headlining in Galway, 28th of June. You probably known about this sort of been in the pipeline for a while, but how are you feeling now to know you're headlining a card in Pearse Stadium?
Yeah, I'm delighted. I'm buzzing with it now. I've been asking for another fight in Galway for a long time now, so to see this materialize is brilliant, and especially in a dream venue of mine since I was a kid. So yeah, it's class, John, especially in training camp now to have that to look forward to, and first title fight as well in front of my home people. It's very special.
Are you sort of having to pinch yourself because like we've spoken this before when you have your dream of Pearse Stadium and you're sort of going like you might need to get the world title fight and things like that. They fight there. Like does it still feel real to you? Obviously that was probably one of the reasons you signed with GBM was to say, well look, if I'm signing, I want to fight in Galway as well. Like you still pinch yourself to go in 6 weeks' time. That'll all be over pretty much.
Yeah, it's class. So, John, it all goes down to, I suppose, the support I received off people of Galway. They've always supported me, and when promoters see the fan base that I have, I think that excites them as well. So I've always wanted to build something big in the west of Ireland. It's the first ever outdoor stadium fight, and just even to see like the undercard fighters get an opportunity, some great talent on the card. But for the next generations of boxers coming up through Galway as well, there was no such thing like this when I was a kid growing up to go in and watch, a fight night in Pearse Stadium. It's we've come a long way in the west of Ireland, and I just want to be the person to build that now and get the local fighters involved and just show the kids, I suppose, they can definitely have dreams like I did and top the bill in Pearse Stadium someday.
Like it's like you're only pro, obviously just over 3 years past since obviously you made your professional debut. Do you think these things can happen so quickly? But like in the south of Ireland in particular, you're probably I don't know, like I can't think of anybody else that would sell the volume of tickets that you would. Like obviously in the south of Ireland it's different to what it is up here, where we've quite a lot of people that sell really good tickets. Like you're a really big ticket seller, and as a byproduct of that, that's what obviously is getting you these big opportunities because you have such a big fan base.
Yeah, I believe so. I'm very grateful, very lucky to have them. It's very important to have, like you said, if you can sell tickets, it's very important to the promoter. It's good business for them, but it really skyrockets you up as well because there's more publicity around that fighter. Um, yeah, it just makes me very proud to bring it back to Galway though. It's I love where I'm from. I love all the people around Galway. They all get behind their own in every sport. It doesn't matter what you play. It's a very tight knit county, and all of the communities around me as well, in Uachtarard and Callanna and Connemara. They've always supported their own whatever sport it is and whatever they're doing. So it's yeah, it's brilliant. I'm very very happy to be able to bring it back to their doorstep now, and I plan on bringing big fight nights to Galway, going forward. This is just going to be the start of it in the stadium, and working up towards that world title fight.
Is it good for you in some ways where you've had that experience obviously as a pro of fighting obviously in Leisureland obviously well that 2023 pretty much it'll be just I think it'll be two less than 2 years from we fought there, so like is it good for you in some ways because obviously the nerves and things like that sometimes it comes like you fought in front of your own people as a pro. Well obviously how will them nerves feel walking out in Pearse Stadium? Like you've adjusted to it before, you know what it's like. Is that it's a good thing for you?
Yeah, I think so. It's very important as especially a young professional fighter. I fought in front of a couple thousand in Galway. It was, you know, there was feelings there that I never had before. Expectations, pressure. Um, it's funny boxing. Like there's been a couple of fights where I fought in front of a couple hundred, and other fights where I fought in front of 10,000 at the SSE Arena, and then brought it back to Galway again and for a smaller venue, but the atmosphere felt just as good because it was tight. So I've experienced a lot now as a professional, and I really feel like I thrive under it now. The pressure is sort of a privilege to me. So everyone's there to watch me. They've paid their hard-earned money. It's up for me to go out and entertain them and make sure that it was worth coming.
I remember obviously when I interviewed you, obviously after your fight in SSA Arena, and you were sort of saying, you loved that atmosphere, but you couldn't wait to feel that atmosphere, and obviously in Galway and Pearse Stadium in particular. Like I know the card still sort of with quite a few announcements sort of today, but like what a card! Like, do you think you're having Joe Ward in your undercard, Gabriel Dawson in your card? Like, obviously it seems to be that 95% of this card's going to be full of Irish fighters, and it's all the next generation of fighters coming through. Like, it's a massive privilege for you to be able to headline all these amazing fighters.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Like, there's a good few lads there who I would have been on the national team with before when I broke into the senior team. Yeah, the likes of Joe Ward there and Sean McComb. Um, some serious talent there from Ireland, and yeah, it's just brilliant. Like, I think this is what Irish boxing needs now. It's something new. It's in, like I said before, the first ever outdoor show in the west of Ireland. It's huge, and to see them get the opportunity as well is brilliant, and it'll really boost them on in their careers as well.
I'm sure you're looking forward to seeing billboards and stuff like that going on. Obviously, billboards around Galway with Kieran Molloy's face on it. Like, you'll be going, "What's going on here? Who's up to this?" But like this is the start of even bigger nights to come for you.
Yeah, I believe so. I've been working very hard for these opportunities. I knew it wasn't going to be handed to me. That was drilled into me since a kid. Like, if I wanted something, I had to work hard. I have very supportive parents, but they always let me know I had to work extremely hard for these nights. And yeah, I'm just very grateful that all the hard work and sacrifices and dedication to the sport is paying off. But I'm in this sport to become a world champion and a great world champion at that. So yeah, this is just one step on the road, but it's a very exciting one, and it's a night I'll cherish.
How's ticket sales going so far? Obviously, I know your dad does all the tickets for you. Obviously, when you're in camp, like I wouldn't be surprised if your dad's knocking every door in Galway, going, "How many do you want?" It's not like you're not going at the old cold calling sort of thing, knocking people's doors and going, "My son's fighting in Pearse Stadium the 28th of June. How many tickets do you want?" Do you know how it's going so far for you?
Yeah, it's going very well. Yeah, my dad and my cousin Marisa as well. They're brilliant. They've got a real old school way about it. It is like door to door, like, and taking names and text messages and everything. It's brilliant. So they take all that, and then so I can fully focus on the training side of things. So I'm very lucky to have that. But there's big interest in it. Great response from the pre-orders as well, and the Galway GA, they're all getting involved and reaching out to all the local GA clubs as well. So, hopefully we can get some serious numbers in there. But yeah, it's very exciting. Like I said, I've just been over here training full time twice a day. So I speak to my dad every few days as well. But he's excited for it all. He loves the hustle part of it, and yeah, he's really looking forward to it.
What sort of what he's anticipating sort of numbers wise? Like, obviously, I guess we were 5 or 6 weeks out and they're selling well. Like, what do you sort of anticipate sort of attendance to be on the night?
I'm not too sure, to be honest with you. Like, see, the beauty about it is there's no real cap on it because you can keep on. It's a massive stadium, but we're going to pull sort of the ring kind of close to the main stand, and the main stand holds, I think, 7,500, and then we're going to have ringside seats around the floor area as well. So, um, yeah, look, it's just uh, I don't know exact numbers, but all I know is I know there's going to be a lot of noise that night.
How many times have you been in Pearse Stadium and sort of going, "I'm going to fight here one day," and like people were probably going to you, "Wise up, Kieran, what are you," that saying, people go, "What are you smoking?" sort of thing. Like, how many times have you stood in Pearse Stadium and went, "I'm going to fight here someday," to now actually become a reality?
Uh, a few times, but the truth is, like, honestly, the my friend group and the people who I have around me. if I said that to them, they would believe me and they would back me to do it. I'm very lucky with the people we have back home. Stuff like that, they wouldn't laugh at me for it. They would get behind and make sure if there was any way that they could help, they would. And it's because of all of them. That's why I do believe myself because with the Uktar Boxing Club, that's where I started. It's very important to have big dreams like that, and to anyone who laughs you off, just show them that you can. So no, I've been very lucky with people I have around me. I've got a fantastic team here as well. Training with Charlie Beat in the New Era Boxing Gym in Harlem Eubank, and Kurt Walker. He's gone home now for a bit, so the apartment's kind of quiet. But no, I'm very lucky with the group of people I have.
I was just going to touch on obviously the new working thing obviously with Charlie. Obviously that you've two fights now under him. The sort of first one in December was sort of getting, I guess, adjusted, sort of keeping the reins on you, sort of, and then last time out was it just like we'll do a few rounds and then we'll go and take him out? Is that the sort of plan it's
Yeah,
been?
yeah. The first fight, I suppose we were only working with each other kind of newly, so I wanted to get back to my boxing and keep my distance, get behind the jab again. And the second fight, yeah, was break him down, and then we'll go for the knockout. So we train for knockouts. So if you get the opportunity, it's you go guns blazing.
I'm sure obviously after not having your last stoppage obviously prior to that, obviously October 2023. So when you sort of went over a year without a stoppage, you're sort of going to yourself, has my power left me already? I'm still young here, but has my power leaving me, sort of thing? You had them sort of challenges, obviously, and being dropped and things like that the first time. But is it a relief for you, sort of, in some ways, to know that you went in there and you stopped someone again? You're going, the power hasn't left me yet.
Yeah, it was never a worry to be honest. But like at the end of the day, I got 3 8 rounders there as well. I got valuable rounds. Learned a lot from each of those fights, even though some of them weren't the nicest fights to watch or anything, but still went in and got the job done. My last fight was actually the first time wearing 8 ounce gloves as well, so I could really feel the difference there. Um, yeah, I much prefer it as well. Smaller gloves, more dangerous.
Could you feel it your side, or obviously you're feeling it the other side? Obviously, the punches ways, obviously, when someone's punching you, like they're only good if you can do the damage more. If someone hits you, you're going, Craigie, what are we doing wearing these gloves?
Yeah, it is both ways. You have to be careful. I'm lucky enough my defense has got a lot better, but it's just when I was landing punches, I could see it. He had to go to the hospital the next day because his jaw was smashed. Like so, it's only a small punch that'll do serious damage in this game. So your defense definitely has to be on point. But there's nothing in those gloves. They're very very small.
The one thing that's probably missing, obviously, in your pro career so far has been a belt. Like that obviously had to be a non-negotiable, obviously, and coming home as I need to be fighting for my first pro title.
Yeah, it's like I said before, I had over 220 amateur fights and 11 pro fights, and I've never once had a belt. So it's about time I get one wrapped around my shoulder. So what better place to do it than a homecoming to Pearse Stadium in Galway? It's it's stuff of dreams. This.
Will you now then feel like you are a sort of pro because you have a belt? Like obviously, I think did Kurt win the same belt as well? Am I correct in saying that? So he's a
I think
both of like
so.
a
Yeah,
you both of the
yeah, I
same
think he
belt.
did. Yeah, yeah. So uh, yeah. So look, I've always felt like a pro, anyways. But a belt. Yeah, I've always wanted a belt now for the past like over a year probably. So it's great to get the opportunity to fight for it now.
Kaisee Benjamin, obviously, he's no stranger. These sort of, Irish boxing fans, obviously. He fought Sean McComb, obviously, in a Sky Sports card. Obviously, it's super lightweight. He's now moving up to welter. What do you know of Kaisee, obviously, as a fighter? Like, have you watched much of him previously? Like, what do you know of Kaisee Benjamin?
I actually when Sean McComb fought him, I actually wasn't living too far away from there at the time, so I drove down to support Sean. Um, yeah, Sean fought very well that night. I know Casey, he keeps on coming towards the end. He's very aggressive, uh, throws decent punches, like so. it's going to be a good test, definitely a step up, and I believe he'll bring the best out in me.
I guess when you watch that, obviously you're a different fighter to Sean, but like I guess when you were watching that fight, you would never have probably looked at it and went Kaisee Benjamin, as an opponent because he's a different weight class. Like it's strange how this boxing game works out. You're sort of watching the fight, and the next thing you're going, well, I'm fighting this guy.
Yeah, no, it is funny. Like even sometimes you could be on like watching undercards on dazn or Sky, and all of a sudden you're fighting that lad about 3 weeks later, a late replacement or something. So you just never know with boxing. It's funny. We had a couple of other sort of pullouts as well before the Benjamin fight, so it's just good that we have one penciled in now.
But I'm guessing like was the original plan for you, obviously, because I'm sure you wanted to win an Irish title. Obviously, we know that Senan had that belt, and I think he's moving down. Was the initial plan to fight for an Irish title, and it just didn't work out?
Yeah, we offered Senan the fight. He refused to take it. I think they offered Dylan Moran and Lee Reeves a fight as well, maybe, but none of them really wanted to take it, to be fair. So, um, we wanted to fight for the Irish title, but it just wasn't an option. None of the lads would fight, so this is a much better belt, anyways. Like as in terms of rankings and stuff. So yeah, I'm happy that we've got this and a good solid fighter as well.
Is it that sort of? I guess is that a compliment sort of in some ways when people won't fight you, and it's not to sort of disgrace them sort of for that, but people see the talent that you are, Kieran, and going, I don't want to fight this guy. Or is it annoying for you in the fact that you're going, I want to have a domestic fight as a pro?
Yeah, no, I don't mind it. I can completely understand it. But when guys are going on social media saying they want paydays and big fights and stuff, and then when it's offered to them, they don't take it. It's up to themselves, obviously. But um, it's a very hard sport to make money and get involved in big fights if you don't take a risk. So, look, all the best to those lads. They're good fighters and they're nice lads and all, but if you want to make money and win belts, you got to take a risk.
It's definitely very much so. Like, I'm not sure, obviously, how this WBA belt works. Because I know when Kurt won it, he didn't get world ranked because of WBA, probably so many belts sort of in the division. But, like, plan, obviously, to beat Kaisee Benjamin and then, obviously, get into that top 15 of WBA before the end of the year. Is that where you're sort of now looking at and going the roadmap towards the WBA world title? Or is there still organizations the way the boxing monopoly is? Sometimes
Yeah,
you
no,
fight for WBA about one fight and then IBF European the next fight.
yeah, it could be. It's hard to know. Like all I'm doing is focusing on this fight, but I think with the WBA European belt, at least I'll get a high ranking in the EBU. So that's the road I'd probably like to go down as well. Um, and yeah, we'll just pick up as many belts as we can throughout the year. I don't mind what organizations I'm ranked in as long as I'm ranked in a few of them, and whatever belts world title we get to fight for, it'll be a special night. So, I'm just going to keep on working, stay active. That's the main thing for me, and work our way up and do it properly.
You've sort of been like a silent man in the 147 division. Obviously, in Ireland, all the talk's been obviously on Paddy and Lewis. Like, this is your opportunity now, headlining in Galway, live all around the world in the zone, for you to put your hand up and go, my name's Kieran Molloy, I'm an Irish welterweight, and I'm still in that mix.
Yeah, for sure. Look, those lads deserve to get all of the credit they have. They've both had a very good few years there. I know I turned professional a bit, a few years after them. So I was just staying in my own lane. But yeah, by the end of this year, everyone know who the best welterweight in Ireland is.
Like, by the time fight night comes around, you'll have 5 fights in 14 months, obviously, since signing with GBM. So you're sort of going through a really good period of activity for yourself, sort of, I guess that, you know, whenever the GBM sort of deal come about and you're sort of going, people sort of maybe didn't know who GBM sort of were at the time, but the one thing that GBM are doing for you is they're keeping you active, keeping you busy, and they've delivered for you on your promise of getting you your Galway homecoming.
Yeah, they have, to be fair. Look, that was it when I was with Top Rank. I just wasn't getting enough fights, so um, it was very important for me to get a contract where I could get out uh 5 times. It's brilliant in the space of what, 14 months. So activity is very it's essential, especially early on in your career. I've come up against complete different styles in my fights over the last like year now. So it's all just experience, and on the big fight nights, this is where it all plays part.
Is that the plan for you sort of now moving forward? Like you're going to have at least one summer show in Galway every year. Like you want to keep going until you fill Pearse Stadium completely.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. It's exciting. It's I plan on fighting there once, maybe even twice a year. Like so, it'll be really good. Especially once with this one all goes smoothly, fingers crossed. And everyone enjoys their night. I think it could become a real hub for Irish boxing.
The last obviously outdoor show in Ireland, I think if I'm right in thinking, I hope I haven't missed one out, was Frampton in 2018, and from about 7 p.m. in the evening, all it done was rain. Like I think it nearly got to the end of the night that people needed boats. Like what's the weather looking like on the 28th of June in Galway? Is we've no chance of rain on that day, have we?
I'm not too sure, to be honest. God knows. The weather, but it's usually nice down in Salthill in the summertime. So yeah, fingers crossed we'll get a nice summer's evening. But I'm sure there'll be a canopy up over the ring just in case.
Well, I guess the water's not too far away normally now, so we'll not have to go too far to get into our boats.
Yeah, sure. No,
Um,
it's a lovely place to be fair.
it is obviously I was down there for obviously your last show, and obviously I think I've actually been down twice. I can't remember. I can't remember if I've been down once or I've been down twice.
Oh, Thomas
Um,
O'Toole fought there as well.
who? Yeah, that's right. I've been
That's
down
right.
twice.
Right.
Thomas fought there as well. He was obviously disappointed. I guess his fights before yours. Obviously, he's fighting in Fenway Park. The first fight in Fenway Park since I think 1954. But you know,
Yeah, and
I think I'd said to him in an interview we done previously, like you and him obviously both on the same card. Like you want to have as many fighters from Galway as possible because it could be the one and only chance. We know how boxing sometimes works.
yeah,
Um, you want as many Galway fighters on the card as possible because that gives everybody an opportunity in Galway to come to these cards.
yeah, it does for sure. And it's no, we've got some very good fighters as well for a small county, really, I suppose, in boxing. So yeah, it's a lot of talent coming through, and you can even see it in the local boxing gyms. Kids coming through, they're developing nicely. So like I said at the start, once they'll have their eyes on this, and they'll be coming in, they'll be getting excited and seeing the crowds and the cheers and the boos and the winning and the losing. It's all excitement, and it gives them it plants a seed in them, I think, in their head, and they'll be going home that night thinking, "Geez, I'd love to do that someday." So, that's all these kids need is somebody to show them that it can be done, and it's exciting. God knows how many world champions Galway could produce over the next 20 or 30 years.
Is that a big thing for you, obviously, in being that role model, being that superstar in Galway for the next generation coming through, where you can't sort of go to the shop to buy a newspaper without someone stopping you and annoying you. Well, not annoying you in some ways because obviously you always speak to everybody, but is that a big thing for you on being the role model for this next generation?
It's just so they know they can, if they work hard, they can do it. I suppose because we're very lucky where we're from around up there. Like you said, if I go uptown to grab something in the shops, I'll be stuck up there for an hour talking to everyone. It's brilliant. Like everyone loves it. So yeah, they're just full of good kids down there as well around the schools, and also be good. The boxing club as well is getting really good numbers in our local gym. So yeah, it's nice when you go in and they all look up to you and ask you questions and stuff. So, I had that with a couple of older fighters when I was a kid. So I always remember how much it meant to me when they spoke to me and stuff like that. And when they'd come down and show off their medals and their trophies, and you'd be thinking to yourself, "Oh, he must be class!" Like so. It's yeah, it's a really nice feeling that they'll be able to come now and see it for real.
One last thing before we go, we still haven't sort of a nickname for you, have we?
No, not yet. I
I'm
haven't
going to
even
ask a
thought about
few of the guys. I'm going to ask Kurt and things like that what names they call you because you have to have a nickname out there somewhere, Kieran. You can't headline in Pearse Stadium without a nickname.
I don't know, honestly. You'll have to come up with something now.
We'll have to. If anybody has any ideas, obviously let us know in the comments, obviously section, what you think Kieran Molloy's nickname should be. I don't think it's right that you can headline in Pearse Stadium without a nickname, so we're gonna have to come up with some name for you in some way.
Yeah. Keep it PG though as well. Make sure to put that in there.
Yeah, keep it PG because there could be kids watching. But I don't know. Obviously, your dreams of obviously are being the superstar and world champions and everything else they got. So maybe Kieran the superstar Molloy. I don't know if that's got a ring to it, but
No, it's not
some
even that. It's not that I want to be famous and a big superstar. It's just I want to become a world champion and make a load of money.
definitely be nice. Well, look, Kieran. Obviously, thanks as always for your time. Obviously, it's great to finally get a catch up in 2025. It's been a while. You've had 2 fights since then.
Yeah.
Obviously enjoy the next couple of weeks of camp as we know we will. It'll probably be the easiest camp for you because it's obviously it's getting you a step closer to your dreams and everything else to got. But enjoy your next couple of weeks in camp and we'll
Thank
out
you.
see you in fight week in Galway.
Yeah, brilliant. It's great to see you back as well.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Appreciate
your
that.
time, Kieran. Cheers,
All
take
right.
care. Thanks, bye
Bye
bye.
now.
Bye bye.
Bye.